Hi and welcome to today's episode in which I try and take an online shopping boo-boo and make something quick and delicious. I did an online food shop a couple of days ago and instead of the one bag of rocket that I meant to order, I've ended up with 3 arugula if you're in the States. I've eaten one of them and although I do love the stuff, there's only so much rocket you can have on the side of your plate. I initially thought about making a pesto with it, like a little green paste kind of thing. But then I thought, I wonder if I could make like a creamy pasta sauce. That got me thinking about how I could make it creamy, and I thought, well, maybe I could use oats like I've done in the past. I want to say for the winter warmer pie, like the filling of that was oat-based cream sauce. But then remembered I've got some cashews in the freezer. So I thought I'll blitz those down, make like a thick creamy sauce, and then I can show YouTube the versatility of cashews. The sauce is going to be really simple. It will be the rocket, arugula, cashews, a couple of seasonings, very mild kind of seasonings. I figure this is going to be a nice kind of midweek one, as long as you remember to soak the cashews, because that's going to take a little while to soak. But you can do that overnight or in the morning before you go to work and then just pull them out. And then hopefully it should be done start to finish in 30 minutes, if not less. Rocket's quite a bitter leaf. And if you've been in some restaurants, you'll see rocket and parmesan as a kind of salad side dish kind of thing. So I thought I'll offset the bitterness with a bit of vegan cheese. And then on top of it, I'm gonna put some sauteed onions on there for a bit of sweetness. And then for some extra protein, I'm gonna pop on some edamame beans, which are like young soybeans. Yeah, we'll just make a nice kind of green bowl that's vibrant and delicious, hopefully. I've got about 1.5 tablespoons of vegan butter in this front pan where I'll saute the onions. So I'm gonna start that warming now. I'll blend everything down, then put the pasta on. Just so then I'm not having to scramble and get a bit frantic. Here's the tub of cashews. I did a little video when I soaked them this morning, so I'll maybe do a side-by-side comparison so you can see how much they've swollen. I'm just going to drain this water off, and then just give them a quick rinse with fresh cold water and then drain that as well. Let's head over to the blender and we'll start building things in there. This was a cup of cashews, which is about 125 grams or so. So I'm just going to tumble those in. I'll start with 1/2 cup of water, just cold water, and then I might add more in. I'm going to do a little grind of pepper, 1/4 teaspoon or so. Pinch of salt, and then I'll do the rest of the seasonings in the pan, and then we'll give this a blast. Just going to scrape the sides down, see how it's looking. Okay, so it's still fairly lumpy, so I think I'll pop in another 1/2 cup of water. Lid on and go again. Yeah, that's about what we want. So nice and consistent. Probably do one bag and then blitz it and then do the other bag, just so it doesn't overwhelm the blades. This isn't the highest high-speed blender. I think this will work in a regular blender, it'll just take longer. That's looking lovely and green and smooth. I'll scrape the sides down and pop the other bag in. That's the second bag added. There we go. Gorgeous lush green. So I'm going to pour this into a saucepan. A bigger one would be better, but this is the only size I've got, unless I go up to a really big one. And then in the frying pan, and then I'm just going to tip the onions into the frying pan. I just want these to go nice and golden and translucent. And that's really just to add a bit of texture. You get a nice bit of crunch, but then some really nice sweetness. That will go really nicely with the bitterness from the rocket. Okay, back to the sauce. So get this heating up. You can see it's lovely and thick and luscious. Into the sauce I'm going to pop in a 1/2 teaspoon of onion granules and a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic granules, onion powder and garlic powder. I've grated down some vegan cheese. This is a Cathedral City, but this has got a nice tangy flavour to it. So that's probably 4 or 5 tablespoons, something like that. So I'll start with, well, let's just stick it all in, why not? No such thing as too much cheese. Just gonna let the cheese melt in. It will thicken up. I might add a little bit of oat milk, but we'll see. The onions are all done, so I'm gonna take these off the heat now. So I'm gonna start checking the flavour. Same quantity again of cheese. I'm gonna do another teaspoon of the onion powder and another 1/2 teaspoon of the garlic powder. Make sure you give a bit of attention to the bottom of your pan because it will stick to the bottom. Check the flavour at this stage. Same quantity again of cheese. Another 1/2 teaspoon of garlic, teaspoon of onion, and I think that's probably going to be good to go. And another little pinch of salt. One last flavour check, but I think we're probably there. So that is a rather delicious looking bowl of pasta, if I say so myself. I loaded mine up with the edamame beans, onions, then I've got some crispy onions on there, just for a bit of extra crunch. And then some of this cooking chorizo, vegan chorizo. Try and spear up a little bit of everything. Let's have a go. The rocket is bitter, but that's really nicely balanced by the sweetness of the onions and then the saltiness of the cheese and that chorizo. Yes. The chorizo's got some smokiness to it as well, which is really nice. If you can't get hold of any vegan chorizo, use some like smoked tofu or something like that. I've just remembered I toasted off some pine nuts to put on top. It's really tasty, like really simple but delicious. You could create a very similar sauce, same kind of thing, using different leaves. Spinach will work really nicely. You could do basil. I probably wouldn't put that quantity of basil in though, because it's going to be very powerful. Maybe do a bit of spinach and a bit of basil, something like that. You could use tarragon, which has got kind of mild, sweet aniseed flavour, and then perhaps to make some roast garlic mushrooms, that kind of thing, and do mushroom and tarragon, which is a really pleasant combination. That cashew base, that's just going to work really well for lots of different sauces. So maybe even sun-dried tomato, blitz that down. And that'll work either as a pasta sauce or for things like tofu or seitan, that kind of thing, have it just as a sauce over the top of it. If you want it thinner, you can either add just water or some plant milk, or even the pasta cooking water, depending on how much salt you've put in it. If you've put a lot of salt in the pasta water, just be mindful of that. When I make pasta dishes, I don't tend to mix the pasta into it because I like having a few pieces on the plate that are plain. Just, it provides a bit of escape from all the flavours kind of thing. But if you want to mix everything up together, not a problem at all. When I've made that in the past with spinach, I think I did, I kept it in the freezer, and then to defrost it, it'll probably harden up a little bit, like set a bit firmer, so you might just need to add more liquid then. But yeah, by all means, portion it down and freeze it. And then you've got something you can yank out the freezer last minute when you need an emergency. Gonna say a huge thank you to my members over on Patreon. Your support is great for the soul and the fridge. If you haven't come across Patreon, it's basically a website platform that gives you the ability to support content creators, or musicians, artists, all kinds of different people. You get some extra content, that kind of thing, and then you pay a monthly subscription. I'm now gonna roll into making a vegan chicken noodle soup, and I'm gonna let my patrons vote on which video that I publish next week. So if you want in on some of that decisive action, I'll leave the link down in the description for you. If you've enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a little like down below and subscribe if you want more delicious and easy plant-based recipes landing in your inbox every week. Turn on notifications if you want to be alerted as soon as they're ready. And then while you're waiting for next week's, have a look at this.